Welcome, my name is Alyssa Nicole Sarmiento, lead injector here at DermaTouch RN in Houston, Texas. We would like to personally welcome you to our virtual event, Restore, Refresh, Refine, the Juvederm Collection Treatments by Decade. We highly encourage you to stay until the end of the presentation for a live Q&A. Attendees will be able to submit their questions via the Questions tab and have them answered live by a team member. We have 3 giveaways for this event, which includes a free lip filler treatment up to 1 syringe, an HA5 duo kit that includes an HA5 hydrocollagen and sunscreen valued at $232, and a $200 DTRN gift card redeemable on any DTRN service or product to be used by 12/31 of 2026. Winners will be notified by email by August 15th. Our event special, the Juvederm 75 buy one, get one gift card, which is also available for online purchase on August 19th, starting at 11 a.m. At the end of this event, we will send you a text and a reply, and we will send you a reminder when this online event starts. Any patient who redeems one of those gift cards by September 30th will be eligible for a 50 off their next Botox treatment from October 1st through December 31st. Today, we're talking about filler treatments by decade. Every patient's goals and needs are a little bit different. So the information provided here today is only a general idea of what to expect on a client preferences, assessment, and general volume loss by age. In your 20s, volume loss isn't the issue, but subtle enhancements can make a big impact. Patients often come in for targeted filler treatments to fine-tune facial proportions. Common Juvederm products used during this decade include Juvederm Volbella or Ultra for subtle lip volume, Juvederm Voluma for enhancing cheekbone projection, and Juvederm Volux or Voluma for enhancing a weaker chin. This particular decade often benefits from conservative use of fillers to avoid an overfilled appearance. In your 30s, collagen and natural fat pads in the face start to slowly break down, leading to minor flattening in the midface, slightly deeper smile lines, or early under-eye hollows. Common Juvederm products used during this decade include Juvederm Voluma for restoring cheek definition, Juvederm Velour for softening moderate nasolabial folds, and Juvederm Volbella for reducing tear trough hollowing. This particular decade uses fillers to help slow the early signs of aging while maintaining a youthful look. In your 40s, facial fat and bone structure begin to noticeably shift, and filler procedures become essential for definition and support. Common Juvederm products used during this decade include Juvederm Voluma for restoring the volume in temples and cheeks, Juvederm Ultra Plus for smoothing deeper nasolabial folds and marionette lines, Juvederm Volux for structural support and improved definition of the jawline. This decade focuses on maintaining natural contouring and restoring definition without overcorrecting. In your 50s and beyond, the volume loss accelerates and facial structures weaken. The jaw and cheek bones shrink, reducing facial support, and the fat pads in the face shift downward. Common Juvederm products using during this decade include Juvederm Voluma for structural support and deep volume loss in temples, cheeks, and chin, Ultra Plus for severe nasolabial folds and marionette lines, Juvederm Volux to help improve moderate to severe jawline definition, Juvederm Volbella to soften vertical lip lines and add subtle volume in the lips. This particular decade often benefits from deeper support and layering techniques. Every face is unique, so we would love to create a personalized treatment that fits your goals. Whether it's subtle lip hydration, restoring cheek volume, or enhancing your profile, we always encourage patients to spread their filler treatments across multiple appointments as for best results are achieved over time versus in a single appointment. Additionally, we recommend annual maintenance to continue to maintain results. Take advantage of tonight's event specials. Reply to our text after the presentation and let us help build your treatment plan one step at a time. Thank you for attending our event today. I've enjoyed talking about the Juvederm collection and hope you found this information helpful. Our giveaway winners will be notified by email and phone on August 15th. Be sure to check out your text messages after the event and reply back if you're interested in a consultation and appointment. We are entering a very busy time of the year. Be sure to get on our schedule now so that you are ready for the holidays. Please continue to stay on as I'm going to open our system up for a Q&A for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Ask your questions through the questions box. Hi, everyone. Wanted to tell you thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch our virtual event, and we will start the online Q&A. The first question I have, it's a really good one. Can we start conservatively and add more later if needed? Absolutely. One of the best things about us as providers is we can kind of map out for you where you're wanting to start, but also give our input of what area we believe you should start. Sometimes the areas that you think would help the most, we can find just a little bit of a different area to start with that can maybe possibly help to take pressure off an area or help with the deficit in that area or help to support the under eyes. So definitely we can do it all at one time if the client feels comfortable, or we can break it up in stages and kind of map out over time in several treatments. Honestly, that's my favorite thing to do, is to break it up just so that way we can be on the same page and going slow and have it look more of a youthful restorative treatment versus looking possibly overdone. Another question I have, how should I prepare for my appointment? So it's always one of the most important things is to make sure after your appointment or even before to not have anything planned that's very special to you for 2 weeks and on. So birthdays, any weddings, any major events where people are going to see you, we want to make sure we're adequately preparing for that. I like at least a month before the main event, depending on what the event is. However, the longer the time we have, any possible bruising, swelling will help to go away. I always ask 24 hours before your appointment to avoid alcohol, coming in the day of with no makeup, avoiding any alcohol or any kind of working out 48 hours after the treatment is always great. Any dental cleanings, I don't want any dental cleanings, root canals, anything like that 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after. Preferably even a month before or a month after, just to avoid any kind of issues. And then the third question I have is, can you do talks on the same day? Absolutely. So what we would do first is we would do the filler. If the area is also going in the area of the talks, filler is always first. And then we would do the talks afterwards. This is so that way we're making sure that when we put the neurotoxin in the muscle, that we are not going to potentially move it after injecting it. So for instance, if I'm doing someone's cheeks and they're also wanting their crow's feet, I will do my injections of filler in the cheeks using my Voluma. my Juvederm Voluma. And then I will go back over and do the crow's feet with the Botox afterwards. Same thing as if I was doing any other areas as far as jawline as well. I would want to do the jawline filler and then maybe the platysmal band Botox afterwards, just to make sure we're not moving the Botox. And then I have a question on what product would I recommend for lips? So there's two products that I recommend in the lip area that are FDA approved. The first one is the Volbella. How the structure is made, it's not as hydrophilic, meaning it's not going to pull in as much water. So if you have a lot of salt that day, a lot of water or any alcohol, the next morning the lips are not going to look puffy. The product lays very, very softly and nicely. It actually is one of the best fillers for moisture, for helping those lip lines in the lip to look better or softer without having your lip look overdone. The other one is Ultra. Ultra is a little bit more robust and is going to give more volume. How I say, more bang for your buck. So if you're looking for a little bit more volumized, but also want some moisture, the Ultra will do that, but it will give more volume than like my Volbella. So a lot of that's going to be determined, however, on the client's shape of their lip, their size of their lip, how deep their tissue is or how tight their tissue is. There's a lot of factors, and that's why it's really important to come in for an assessment, because you may be wanting one product, but when we're looking at your lips, that might not be the best product for you. And so we always highly encourage coming in and doing a consultation with us. Another question, can you use Juvederm and Sculpture be used in the same appointment? Yes, it can be. You can do it two ways. We can do a traditional treatment like Sculpture or any other cryobiostimulator like that, and then do the filler over, or however, we can start with filler. And because of the fact that you're going to get that instant gratification is where that filler will run into. Over time, it's with the biostims, it is more over time, not instant. So just depending on what the client is wanting at the time. Should I try a different filler if mine isn't staying? So there's, with the Juvederm line, they actually are the most studied and used over the United States. And so different fillers do have different time frames. So we would definitely encourage coming in so we can talk to see what products you've used in the past and how our Juvederm filler can fit in better, depending on if it's the cheeks, the jawline, the lips, the nasolabial folds. But there's a lot of factors on why filler can possibly not be lasting as long. Easy as overworking out, if you work out more than most people, based on skin, but also based on sun exposure. And also just the most common one is a lot of times the clients will think the filler is gone, and we refer back to their before and after photos of that day and before they came in. And sometimes, a lot of times, they realize that it's still there. We see ourselves on a daily basis, and so we get used to what we see. So it's always encourage our clients to come back and look at the before and afters and see what we can do to either preserve or even better or restore the area. Why do injectors always stress subtle changes if we want something more noticeable? That is a really good question. So with fillers, we don't want to overfill an area because then it can be causing you to not look natural. I use the example of a pie. We use like filling. If a pie is empty and I put filling in it, it's perfect. But if that area is filled too much too quickly, it will come out of the pie. Same as our facial structures. We don't want to put too much in one session due to, we want to make sure that the product is going to stay where we inject it. We don't want too much swelling. We want to see how the body is going to react. At all times, safety is most important. We can do multiple syringes in the same session, and we can do a little bit more of a improvement, but the best I would say compliment that I ever get in the many years of injecting is if someone says, I went somewhere, they told me I looked great, but they couldn't tell what it was. And that's really why we strive for more of a subtle. We can still make a good contour with it, but we just don't want that. We don't want people to feel their pillow faced or look overdone. So that's why we're just a little bit more of a conservative approach. Oh, very amazing question. Does the Juvederm gift card include Voluma and Volux, etc.? Yes. So the Juvederm gift card will be used across the board on all 6 of them. So the Velour, the Volbella, the Volux, the Voluma, the Ultra, and Ultra Plus. They can be used on any of the Juvederm line of fillers. And just a reminder, that special will be next week on August 19th. We will send out emails to those that have subscribed to remind y'all. That starts at 11 a.m. It's the buy one $75 gift card and get one free. Have another question here. I had a lip flip but didn't like how it affected the ability to smile and drink from a bottle or glass. Will lip filler cause the same side effect? Actually, no. So when you go in and do a lip flip, it is actually messing with the muscles above the lip. So those muscles typically are pulling down. And when we put the neurotoxin in, it releases those muscles up. So with that happening is for the next few days, around 5 to 6 days, there can be some issues with drinking out of a straw, talking, blowing bubbles because it's messing with those nerves above the lip. With lip filler, we're just adding a little bit of volume to the lip. So you should not have the issues of drinking out of a straw like you did with, or the ability to smile like you did with the lip flip. You will have some swelling that day and possibly that night a little bit more. And I always tell my clients the next day the most. So sleeping elevated or extra pillows behind your head, icing here and there will help with that. But you should not have issues with smiling or drinking out of a straw. It's not messing with the muscles. It's just helping the tissue, those tubercles, to help them add a little bit more volume and give a little bit more moisture to an area that you've lost a little bit of collagen on. Excellent question. If I'm on a GLP-1 and still losing weight, should I wait until at the target weight to do a filler? There's 2 ways to look at that. I tell my clients it depends on how much more weight you're wanting to lose. If we're within 5 to 10 pounds, I highly encourage that we can start some fillers and then take a look at the end weight. If they're looking at losing quite more, then I always stress like you can do it in 2 ways, in the sense of I can put some in, it can help to build foundation, it can help to create less of a deficit. And then if you lose more weight, you can possibly need a little bit more because you're not only losing muscle, but you're also helping to lose a little bit of the collagen and fat when we're losing more weight. And then we can press on with that as well. Or if the client just wants to come in, once their journey is done, then we can do a comprehensive assessment at that point. The assessment would change if we started at the beginning and then they lost more weight. Our actual plan may change versus if we start once they're at their ideal weight, then we could go on from there in several sessions, depending on the deficits and what they're wanting to fix. Do fillers ever drop or sink? So that is a good question. So I highly stress that when you come get fillers, especially with us here, we're all nurses or nurse practitioners. So there's many things that we do in the actual clinic, but also outside of the clinic. We have a lot of classes that we continue to do for our education. So with that, we have evolved over time how we inject and where we inject and the level we inject. And so certain parts of these areas go deeper or not as deep in the skin. So it is very important that to put these products where they should be. So if they're placed correctly in the right plane of the skin, no, they should not droop or sink. over time, our actual fat pads get bigger and heavier and move forward. So it actually will help to contour and help to take pressure off of that process and make that process go a little bit slower. How often does it need to be redone? It's going to vary from person to person. Are you highly active? Are you out in the sun a lot? Do you sleep on your face? Do you smush your face when you sleep? There's a lot of factors. Also, how fast is your metabolism? There's a lot of factors that can contribute to it, but a lot of these, all of these 6 products that we use have FDA clearances, meaning that they've gone through a long, rigorous trial to give us a good amount of time. So if we're talking about cheek filler, it can last up to 2 years. We have an indication. Jawline is 1 year. Chin is 1 year. Lips can be 1 to 18 months depending on the product. Nasolabial folds can be a year to 18 months depending on the product. So we know a good average of how long they can last, but to be honest, these fillers can also last much longer than that. It doesn't mean at that time it's completely gone, but we just highly encourage possibly that we would do another assessment or a checkup on how they're doing after a certain period of time. Can you use your monthly membership allocation to buy gift cards next week, or is it specifically with Ally? So these gift cards are actually going to be specifically through your Ally app. So unfortunately, no, the membership money allocation that we have here at DermaTouch could not be used, but you would purchase it through the Ally app, and it is one purchase per account. This is a really good question. What is your favorite filler? I love them all. No, I have had several syringes over the last 13 years, and one of my favorites is the Voluma. I did Voluma several years ago in my cheeks. I actually have 2 syringes on each side. And I've also done some Volux in my chin, I'm sorry, in my jawline, and I've done a little bit of Volux in the menton of my chin, and I've done some Voluma in my actual ball of my chin. And then as far as my lips, it's been several years, but I have used Ultra and also the Volbella. Oh, and also I have done nasolabial folds in my 20s where I use the Ultra Plus in that area as well. So I love them all, and I love that I can tailor to them, that they're specific per area on the contouring and how they lay. I like this question. Can you use different fillers for your lips at the next session? Absolutely. So I have a lot of people that they're very, very afraid of their lips becoming overdone. So we may go with a softer filler like the Volbella. And then if they feel like it wasn't as much volume or they feel more comfortable doing the filler, then the next time I can layer it with Ultra. And it also can go the opposite way too. If they're looking for more volume, then I can start with Ultra. And then if they're feeling like in the next year they're just needing a little pick me up, I can then layer it over with the Volbella. So that was a good question. Yes, they can be layered. This one's cute, so I'm going to read it, but we're not going to answer it. It says, "Who is your favorite patient?" I love all my patients. Does Voluma actually provide a lifting effect, or does it mainly replacing lost volume? I actually love that question. And when you're in my room, I do not like to use the word lift. Everyone else may have their own opinion, but to be honest, I like to use the word it takes pressure off. So there are certain parts of the face, considering you have like your anterior, your zygomatic arch and your zygomatic eminence here, and then also your preauricular. These can be anchoring and taking pressure off of certain areas. As you can see, when I'm pressing in this area, you can see underneath the eye and the nasolabial fold. And if I don't talk, the jowls on the bottom kind of slightly takes pressure off. But they are made specifically to help replace volume loss. So it will give instant gratification, help to prevent an area that has a little bit of needs some contouring or has a little bit of a deficit in volume, I don't necessarily tell you that they will lift, but they will help to take pressure off and enhance certain areas that were once more heavier. Does voluma migrate or does it generally stay where it's injected? So as I previously had stated that it is very important to pick your provider. Here we are all educated and attend cadaver sessions yearly, and that helps us with our injection technique. So because of that, there's certain areas we should be injecting, and we know as injectors when we are on bone or not supposed to be on bone. So generally, yes, when you put the product where it should be, it should not migrate or move. Just checking to see if we have any other questions. These are all good questions. I appreciate y'all taking the time to ask them. Well, if there's, it looks like there's not any more questions, given just a few more seconds to see, but I really do appreciate everyone on attending this live Q&A with me on a Thursday night. I truly, truly appreciate y'all's time. It is very valuable. Wanted to remind you one more time, the special will be next week on Wednesday. August 19th is the buy one, get one, 75 Juvederm, 75 free. We will be sending emails out there to remind y'all. It starts at 11 a.m. Central Time. And then you also will receive a text back. Also, if you'd like to be contacted for any assessments in the future, please text back Derma, and we will contact everyone that contacts us. Thank you and have a good night.